This is another installation of practice that will help us calm the nervous system during the Me Too movement or regarding any trauma that gets kicked up. So my first video was primarily restorative. This one has elements of restorative yoga, but is also slightly more moving yoga, because I found that there are times when things get activated that we want to feel like we're moving energy, actually harnessing the energy in a dynamic way. And so I offer you this video for the purposes of that. So to begin, I'd like, if you have 2 or 3 blankets, that'd be great. A couple blocks is wonderful. If you don't, you can use you can use books instead of blocks. And I've got a yoga strap. You can also use like a towel or a regular strap, okay? So to begin, let's start in child's pose. So knees go out slightly, toes slightly in, and you'll reach your arms either forward or back to begin. So when you're in your child's pose, begin to just listen for the sensations that are happening in your body. And it can be intense. There can be a lot going on. Just allow and listen. You don't have to change it. You don't have to modify anything. Just be with yourself as you key in to the feelings that are right underneath whatever is kicked up, whatever the situation was, just allowing yourself the chance to relax into it. Then what I'm doing is I've been feeling a lot of energy in my lower abdomen getting activated. So I'm sending breath directly to that part of my body. I'm inhaling with the intention to expand that. But if you have another part of your body that's talking to you, expand there. Send the breath and energy there. I'm inhaling right into my lower abdomen. And then as I exhale, I'm going to let go all of that energy, just letting it settle and allowing myself to collect the energy that is most useful for me in my life. And then coming up into tabletop, we're going to make this a dynamic downward dog child's pose. Press back into downward dog, take a full breath in. Exhale, drop down onto your knees, come back into child's pose. Inhale into table, exhale, downward dog. So when you're moving, have your core engaged. Even if that's where you're sending your energy, you want to feel a little contraction there. Come back down, tabletop, exhale into your child's pose. Inhale, table, exhale, downward dog. Let's do 2 more like that. Come back onto the knees for table, push your hips back, child's pose. Core lifts you up, strong straight back, pull yourself back into downward dog. Drop your head. Outer shoulders are spinning back and down, outer arms spinning back and down. Keep your eyes open throughout this practice, finding a drishti gaze point. Come back down, tabletop, child's pose. And inhale back up to table, downward facing dog. From here, come down onto tabletop and cross over your ankles, lie onto your back. So a lot of times traumatic energy gets stuck into our hips. So we will be doing some hip opening, but begin with your upper hips. So you're in the front line of your hips. You're gonna pull the right knee into the right and the left knee into the left, and almost like a half happy baby, you're just gonna slide side to side. Feel what that means for your sacrum, that low bony triangular shaped part of your lowest part of your back. So just feel that on the mat and allow yourself to almost like walk up one hip and then the other. It can even lift off the mat as mine are here. And that can feel very soothing for our body. All the while I'm sending energy into my low abdomen. I'm keeping that in my mind. Where's your spot? It may be in your outer hips. It may be in the back of your hips, your glutes. So send energy to wherever you feel like, oh, there's something a little destabilized there. Go ahead and send that to you. And then place your right foot on the floor. We're doing a supine figure 4. Your left leg is up and across, and then you'll pull your legs in towards you. So you're creating this little figure four. The trick here is that the shoulders will want to round, but don't let them. You want to just pull them a little closer to you. And breathe with that. Flex your left toes. Two more breath. Inhale. Sometimes unpredictable things happen. And exhale. Place your right foot on the floor. You can use a strap here or even just interlace your hands around the back of your knee. The whole intention here is to stretch the back of your leg. Now, thing is, you can reach up with your hand, that's fine, but I have some flexibility in my hamstring. I can go all the way like this, but I'm actually doing myself a disservice. I want to keep my leg above I want to keep that thigh bone right above the hip. Okay, so coming back like this is going to have implications for my low back. So as I'm stretching and opening my body, I want to make sure that I'm doing things that are ultimately healthy for me and for you. So press your leg away from you, and then but draw it towards you with your arms. And then draw your left toes down towards your face. Find a drishti on the ceiling. If your thoughts start talking to you about your toes, just let it go. Especially if they're to do with manicures and pedicures, just drop the line. Notice it and keep coming back. And then bend that leg and we'll cross over, go to the other side. So now your right leg is at a figure four. So what you can see what we're doing here is we're opening through the back side of the hips, the glutes. We're allowing that energy to be released because it can get stuck in us. And then when things go on in our world that stir it back up, we have this opportunity to heal it. And we can heal these things, and it's not easy to heal. Sometimes healing is painful. And so staying with you and being kind to you as you're on this journey is the key. It really is. I mean, nothing else is a priority in the way that kindness towards ourselves can be at this moment. And taking several breaths into that space that feels like it needs a little more breath, or that space that feels like it's out of breath. Sometimes my lower abdomen will feel like it's out of breath, even if I'm technically breathing just fine. But I have to direct my energy to it. One more full cycle here, and then put your left foot on the floor, lift up with the right leg. Again, you want to maintain that nice right angle. If your leg is here, that's fine too. You can use a strap in that case. It'll make it a little easier to reach for it. But what you want to really be doing here is listening again, keying into how your body is feeling, relaxing your spine down the mat, taking in another big breath. Exhaling and releasing your shoulders down towards your hips. Sometimes in this pose they want to shirk up. Don't let them. Just keep releasing. Two more big breaths. Pushing the leg away, but then drawing the leg towards you with your hands. One more here. Inhale. Good, you guys. Exhale it out. Pull both knees into your chest, Apanasana. And then drop you can move your knees slightly away from you and place your hands on your lower abdomen and just gently, or even your upper abdomen, and just gently rub, gentle massage for your own internal organs here. Sometimes massaging them, if your hand is on your abdomen, your right hand is on your abdomen, moving your right hand towards your left, so you're going in a circle around your belly button, essentially, can be very grounding and soothing and can help pull in excellent energy into your system as you go through this time. Both feet on the floor. Drop your knees over to the left, so it's a nice spinal twist. Turn your head to the right, reach your right arm away from you. And then switch, go to the other side, so stop as you come back through center, and then you'll tip to the other side. So your lumbar spine, your lower spine is
pulling in, creating and emphasizing that arch. Reach away with the left hand, look to your left, and then back through center. Knees come into your chest, rock up to seated. From here, we're gonna do Upavista Konasana. Again, you can, if your legs aren't as flexible and you're not as open, that's okay. You can work this pose here and stay seated here. If you feel like there's an aching or rounding in your back, well, go ahead and grab one of your blankets or even a pillow and put it underneath your sitting bones so that you can help your body stay strong and steady as you are moving into these more opening poses. So from here, my recommendation would be to walk your hands forward to the place where it feels like you're releasing energy that just gets stirred up and stuck in there, right? So when we move from clarity and clearness, then we actually have a chance to harness our own internal power and to take steps that feel most nurturing for us. So you may come down, some of you may go all the way down. From my body, going all the way down, though it's a possibility, it just doesn't feel like it's really releasing much. It feels like a strain. So I would suggest that you go to that in-between place where you feel like it's a healthy stretch, but it's not an overstrain. And you know, what a beautiful metaphor for our lives, to find those places that our actions are where we're being pushed slightly, but we're not overstraining, overdoing. Go ahead and keep your left leg long, pull your right foot in, and then reach towards your foot. If you grab it, great. If you don't, that's fine. You can use a yoga strap here. Wrap it around, not at the ball of the foot, but underneath the ball. And then you can pull yourself up through the side ribs. So your right ribs are spinning to the side, and then you want to create more length through the underside. And that may mean that you just stop there. Again, you may be able to go all the way down, but perhaps for this more gentle practice, that with the eye on releasing stuck energy, don't go to the red line, you know, keep the car and within a limitation for yourself, and only you know where that is. There's no posted speed limit on the walls and highways of yoga. It's now switching sides. It's what works for your body on this day, given what you've experienced. And breathing into it, so letting the top ribs lift up and away from you so that the bottom ribs can kind of pull forward a little bit more. Poses don't have to be perfect. They just have to be entirely you, right? And I mean, you can see my poses are far from perfect. It's not why I practice. I practice to release energy. So I practice to cultivate a deeper awareness. Another full breath. Inhale into the space. Exhale it out, slowly coming up. That's a nice stretch for the back of the body too, the QL. Stretching the inner groins. Again, you can stay on the blanket if you used it for Upavista Konasana, that wide-legged pose. We're going to do Baddha Konasana. So soles of the feet come together. You can peel the roots of the toes back. Keep the toe mounds pressing into each other. And then pull forward if that feels okay for you. If pulling forward creates any sort of pain in the knees, you'll want to come back and place your hands behind you and reach up through the chest. And so for my practice today, though I typically pull forward, it feels better for me to reach up through my chest. It feels better to have that heart opening space, so that's what I'm offering myself today. And then 5 full breath here, really taking in energy and dispelling any energy that you no longer need, that no longer serves you. Pulling in the light and dropping out anything that feels like it dims it. Good, one more big breath. Inhale. And exhale, really nice work. So come back now into a seated pose. You can use your blocks here. We're going into Agni Stambhasana. You can take a block if your knee is up and put it to support the knee, or you can go back to the pose we did initially, lying on our backs in a supine figure 4. So from here, you'll have your legs stacked. So one
leg over the other. Both feet are flexed. Both arms reach up to the sky. So you're basically leveraging your spine through the use of your arms here. Lift through the pinky fingers. Let the chest elevate. And then hands come forward. So hands are forward in Anjali Mudra. I'd move forward here as if you were kind of entering into a prayer or a sacred space. So that means you're not going to overdo it. You're going to go with wisdom and come forward to that place where you feel like, that is the stretch I'm after. I can let go there. And then once you're there, you can put your hands down on blocks or on the floor and let your spine stay long. You know, and some of you will go all the way down. You'll hook your chin. That's great. It has to work for your nervous system, your body on this day. Some of you will stay up here. That's great too. It's a matter of listening. Take a couple more breaths here. Breathing directly into the lower abdomen or the hips, directly into wherever you feel the sensation of this pose. Most of you will be the lateral rotator, the external rotator of the hip, whatever the front leg is. And then walk yourself over past the front foot, whatever the foot that's closest to your face. And you'll come into a shoelace pose. So you'll take either elbow into the instep or even just part of the forearm or the wrist. And it's a twist. Now as you're twisting to the side, you'll want to pull back a little bit with the front knee, with the knee that's on top, the top knee, so that both sitting bones can be present on the floor. And then you can look towards your hands. Again, because this practice is one about releasing difficult emotions and difficult experiences, I recommend keeping your eyes open and finding that soft gaze point. So your eyes can settle. If closing your eyes feels great, do it. For me in this type of time that we're in, I need to keep my eyes open. Okay, and then come back up through center. So from here, take the top leg, move the bottom leg so the knee is slightly out, and then extend it. Now, if that looks like madness to you, take the yoga strap, or even just extend and hold here. That's great too. You can use a strap, wrapping it around your foot. Woohoo. Okay, or hands. And so here you can see that we're stretching through. You'll actually feel this a little bit in the IT band, the outer seam of the extended leg. You may feel it in the inner groin. 2 more breaths. And then coming out of that. So from here, we're going to do a little pit stop. I'm going to use 2 blocks. Like I said, you could use books if you don't have blocks. Stack them up, a couple books. We still get telephone books delivered, which my kids are like, what is that? That's what that is. Anyway, you'll put the blocks behind you, fingertips point away, legs are out in front of you, and press through your toes so that they're as open as they can be. Legs can be together. Shoulders move back. You don't want to pop open, but you want to create an open, you don't want to pop open through the lowers, but you do want to create an openness through the collarbones. So feel for that. Feel the openness through the top of the chest. Deep breath in. Notice if the energy needs to change its location. Like earlier, it might have been at the lower abdomen. Now maybe it's at the heart, the back of the heart, the front of the heart. Deep breath. Inhale. Exhale. One more here. Breath in. Exhale it out. Come out now, and we'll switch legs. So whatever leg you had on top before, you're going to put on the bottom. Agni Stambhasana. You've got shins going parallel to each other. You're moving your ankle, your top ankle, past the top of the right thigh. This side might be different. As Carolyn Meese says, our biology, our history becomes our biology, right? So whatever we experience begins to show up in our bodies, and then we become the graceful stewards of those experiences, helping our bodies heal through nurturing, mindfulness, kindness, love, connection. You know, you put what works right for you in the hopper, what works. And then
Finding that space for yourself to release and relax into the pose. And breathing with it. And if it's uncomfortable, that's okay. No, that's just part of the practice, is to step into the ring of the fire sometimes and to breathe with the discomfort and to trust that you're going to be okay and that all will be well. And even if signs point to the opposite at the moment, believing that you're guided. Send the breath in deeply. Exhale deeply. One more full breath here. Toes are flexed again. Come up to seated and then go across. And this side might be different, like I said. I have a little more space on this side for whatever reason. And this is dropping the sitting bone, both of them down to the floor. And you'll feel how this, by twisting in this way, you change the direction of the force of the pose. It becomes slightly more length, the sensation becomes longer in my body, is the only way I can explain it from a sort of interoceptive experience of this pose. One more breath here. Exhale it out, come back up to seated, take the top leg, move it away, bottom leg moves out, and then with the top leg you're going to come back into the pose that allows both sitting bones again to drop. So there is a tendency it's going to want to lift up. That's okay. That's just the way the body is structured. So knowing that, we're going to aim to drop the sitting bone down on both feet, on both hips. And breathing here and letting in the space, the safety, the connection. Take another big breath. Inhale. Good. Exhale, close it up. We're going back into part 2 of this heart opener Dandasana with blocks behind us, pressing feet forward, elevating through the heart, feeling how the lower ribs drop down, but the upper ribs maintain an elevation. And they, as Barbara Bernal would say, they telescope up. So they're lifting, spiraling up. The upper ribs are lifting and spiraling up through the armpits into the ceiling. One more big breath. Inhale. And exhale. Good. So take your blocks, move them away, towards one end of your mat. You'll need them later. And then cross over your ankles. Come on up to standing. So from here, we'll inhale, lift both arms up. And then exhale, drop arms away. So just allowing your feet, I'd separate them more than hip width. Inhale, lift. Exhale, either drop your hands all the way down or drop them down and then to your heart center. Inhale, gathering all the good energy you need for the day. Exhale, clearing out anything that you don't need. Hands, bring it to the heart. Inhale, a little bend in the knee, lift up. Exhale, turn your hands away from each other and then to the heart. 2 more. In. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Very good. So separating your feet more than hip width distance. Come forward. Here you can pitch forward with your hands at your hips. And what I'd like you to do is find the floor with your hands. That may mean you use a block to get there. That's okay. All right? Or you go all the way down. And you can feel how this stretches through the outer hamstrings, the back of the hamstrings. You drop your head and then bend into one knee and then bend into the other knee so that you're creating a dynamic here, a twisting, opening through the inner adductors. Opening, feeling ground. So you want to make sure you're feeling ground through your hands. You're sending energy, rooted earth energy down through your hands, down through your feet. And then from here, place one hand on the floor, your right hand on the floor, left one lifts up. So I'm coming up onto my fingertips here because it gives me more elevation. And then I can feel my heart opening. And then exhale, drop down and go to the other side. Lift up, look up to the top of your hand, and exhale down. Inhale, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Last time, inhaling, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Exhale, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 8. Close it up. 6, 4, 2, and 1. Drop your head. Relax into it. You can bring your hands back to where your ankle, the back of your ankles are, your Achilles. Dropping your head. Shake your head side to side, relieving the tension. Take a full breath in. Exhale it out. Breathe into the place that feels like it needs help, wounding that place. Bring the breath to it. Exhale it out. Bend into your knees. Come on up to standing. Good. Inhale, both arms up to the sky. Take your right hand, leave it up in the sky. Your left knee you're gonna bend. So if you come out of it, big deal. So what? Go back into it. What I'd like you to do here is you can either stay here or you can move into a dancer's pose. So if you're moving into dancer, you want to keep the leg in towards the midline, the back leg, and then reach forward. It doesn't it doesn't have to go all the way. You could just go where it feels like, oh, my heart's open and I'm getting a stretch through the top of my chest, especially the side that's holding the foot. One more breath. Inhale, reach higher if it's possible, and then come out of it. So switching sides, you're going to take hold of the inner part of your foot and then reach. Finding that sweet spot on this side. Nice bend in the standing leg is really great. Just to where it feels like you're letting go. And then inhale, both arms up to the sky. Exhale, swan dive, down we go. Bend your knees. We're coming into a restorative. We're finishing up here. So to finish, I'm going to do a supported bridge again. And what I'd like this to look like for you is a little pillow underneath your neck. That's just like a small pillow, like a neck roll. You can roll up a towel or a blanket. With your other blanket, you're going to want to arrange it so that it's actually underneath from where your shoulders are, like about an inch underneath your shoulders, down your back. And then the blocks can go right underneath your heels so that you can feel a real elevation there. I'm taking a third blanket today because the space that I feel needs a little support is my lower abdomen. Placing a block or a blanket on that area can really help feel grounded and grounding. So lie onto your back. You'll have shoulders are off either blanket. They're not on the blankets, the top of the shoulders. I'm gonna have to rearrange my blocks. I'm gonna move them down a little bit. That's fine. You can just sort of negotiate it with the mat, and the mats are sticky, but you go ahead and do that so that the heels feel supported. I'm using cork blocks. They're a little hard. If you have foam blocks, they might feel a little more comfortable there. And then take the blanket on your abdomen, placing that there. Your arms can come out alongside you, and you can breathe here. Allowing your body to absorb the practice as if you were absorbing micronutrients from a very highly energetically charged meal. Letting your breath settle into a more natural rhythm. And if it feels comfortable for you to close your eyes here, do so. If it does not, then don't. You can leave them open and have a soft gaze, soft look. If it feels okay enough to drop in
eyes open or closed, feeling the bolster or the blankets underneath your neck, underneath your back, the blocks at your feet. You can stay here as long as you feel comfortable doing so. I'm going to close out and thank you so much for practicing today, and I wish you all the best. Namaste.